Hello and welcome to this how-to presentation. In this presentation, we're going to learn more about the 2020 Diver Medical. My name is Eric Albinson and I'm an Instructor Development Programs Specialist. So the new 2020 Diver Medical replaces the previous UHMS, Undersea Hyperbaric Medical Society, RSTC medical form. RSTC is the Recreational Scuba Training Council. This medical form had been around or has been around for about 30 years and has served the diving community very well, but it was time to update it to make it a bit more user-friendly and to really ensure that it captures the most recent and most current up-to-date research when it comes to diving medicine. In this presentation, if I refer to this medical form, I'll refer to it as the classic medical form to differentiate it from the 2020 Diver Medical form. The 2020 Diver Medical form was launched and made available in June of 2020. It is very user-friendly. It's available in many languages, and it is absolutely up to date with the most recent medical information. The form consists essentially of a two-part participant questionnaire. So once you download and view the form, you will see that it actually only consists of 3 pages: participant questionnaire part 1, part 2, and then the physician's evaluation form at the end of it. The first part, the participant questionnaire in part 1, only consists of 10 questions. So it's very short, very easy to complete. And the instructions explain that the student or diver should fill in these questions and then follow the instructions. So if they answer yes to a particular question, such as this one here, 1, for example, or question 2, then it doesn't immediately mean that they have to go see a doctor. It means they need to go to this box, which exists on part 2 of the questionnaire. So here we have box A and box B referred to from part 1. And then if in these questions they answer a yes answer, then they do need to go see a doctor. A couple of the questions in part 1 are immediate go to a doctor if they're answered. For example, here, question 10 and question 5. And in that case, there is no go to box underneath the yes. It simply means go to a doctor. And so that is what these instructions refer to here. If you answered no to all 10 questions above, you do not need a medical evaluation. If you answered yes to questions 3, 5, or 10, then you need to go see a doctor. Or if you answered yes to any of the questions in part 2, then you should go see a doctor. This questionnaire, as I mentioned, is very easy to complete, doesn't take long at all. And it's also available in many languages. And here we can see a snapshot of those available languages that can be used and downloaded by divers. Part 3 is the form that the diver would take to the doctor. And it is, again, very simplified. It has the name of the diver, the participant or diver, and then there's simply a box for the doctor to check whether they approve the diver with no conditions incompatible with diving or free diving, or not approved. No space for notes or comments. It's yes or no. Signature, there's space for the contact details of the doctor and an optional area for the physician to stamp as well, or the clinic to stamp. Key to this physician's evaluation form is this link here. In the classic medical form, there were an additional 4 pages that had guidelines for the physician to consider when evaluating a diver. With this revised or the new 2020 Diver Medical, there are no additional pages, but there's a link that goes to this UHMS page, the Undersea and Hyperbaric Medical Society. And here, the guidelines exist as a digital document. This means that as the UHMS or DAN or any other medical body discover new things, they can add to these guidelines and update them so that they're the most current available for a physician to consider. Also within this document, aside from the guidance notes, there are links or information about where there's additional information for a doctor to go to learn more. And there's also links directly to that help as well. So this is a very useful document for a doctor in that it is a living document and provides additional resources beyond what's printed here in the links to contacts for further information. So very helpful and very useful. And that eliminates all those extra pages. The 2020 Diving Medical is something you should start using right away. It is designed to be used for both recreational scuba diving, for technical diving, and free diving. So regardless of the type of course that you teach, you use the same medical questionnaire. And when we look at part 1, it explains that it deals with recreational scuba diving and free diving. Technical diving isn't mentioned specifically on here because the technical diving that we do is still recreational diving. It is recreational technical diving compared to commercial diving or military diving. So that's why it works for all these 3 types of diving. So what do you do with student record folders or the continuing education administrative document that has a medical questionnaire on it, the classic medical questionnaire, in fact? You have guidance here that answers that question, in that you can continue to use the student record folders, or you can cross out the medical that's in the student record folder and on the continuing education administrative document and begin to use the new participant questionnaire. It's up to you. Similarly, if you have DSD participant guides, the medical that's in there is not actually the classic RCC medical, it's a slightly different medical. And again, you can continue to use those participant guides as they are, or again, you can cross out the medical questionnaire that's in them and use the new 2020 Diver Medical. There is a little caveat there that in some areas you need to keep using the participant guide because the participant guide is what meets the local regulations and requirements. If you have questions, contact your PADI office. Other common question is, what happens if a diver has a physician's approval on some other kind of document and not the 2020 Diver Medical? It doesn't matter. Nothing has changed. You can still continue to accept doctor's approvals on other forms, be it the classic medical statement, on a prescription pad, on a scientific diving medical, military diving medical, as long as the medical approval states on there that the person is fit to scuba dive or fit to free dive, whichever is appropriate for your case. And of course that it's dated within 12 months. So nothing has changed in that regard. It is the questionnaire part that's referred to in PADI standards. PADI standards don't identify what piece of paper the doctor's approval should be on. It's the questionnaire. So in current PADI materials, the classic RSDC medical history questionnaire is the one that's referenced. And when these materials, like the instructor manual and so on, are updated, they will include language that references the 2020 Diving Medical Participant Questionnaire instead. So where can you learn more? Number one place is to go to the Pro site and visit the training news page. On this page, there is the training news blog. It's available in a variety of different languages. And in the 1st of July 2020 edition, there is a whole section that deals with frequently asked questions relating to the new medical screening system. So please take the time to review all these frequently asked questions here. And then another place that you can go to as well for additional information, if you visit Training Essentials Curriculum, and then underneath the heading of Diver Training, you'll see a link to invite you to the 2020 Diver Medical information page. And when I click on that, it's a page dedicated to the 2020 Diver Medical Screen System. There's a link there to the UHMS website as well. And there is a webinar that was recorded that goes into some more details, as well as links to the questionnaire itself. The questionnaire as well, of course, exists in forms and applications, and it's available in essentially all these languages that are on the Pro site. Under the heading of General, you'll find the Diver Medical form, and under the heading for Freediver, you'll also find the same medical form. The form is the same whether it's on the Pro site or on UHMS website, so you can also download the questionnaire from here. It's the same one. But for ease, it's usually easiest to come to the PADI Pro site, which is something that you're all very familiar with, and download the form from there. So hopefully that provides some good information about the 2020 Diver Medical. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact your regional training consultant. Thank you very much.